Schultz, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to apply the 5 love languages as a young adult. Hello. Tiki's joining us as usual. Hi, welcome. But before we get started, I just want to point out that this wasn't on purpose, but my nails look like a box of chocolates. Now, really, before we get started, I need to make sure everyone knows that when I talk about the 5 love languages, I am referencing Gary Chapman's book called The 5 Love Languages. I actually haven't read this through, but I've done a lot of studying on the concepts in his book, and I am subscribed to his weekly emails, so I do learn a little bit about it pretty frequently. So, let's get started. I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat right now. Yeah, this is so exciting. What is love? That is a big question to start the video with, but I'm going to go ahead and try to define it in a way that is adaptable to most situations. Love is an intangible feeling that people share. That's super vague, but again, love means something different to different people, and it can take on a new meaning in different situations. The 5 love languages are basically 5 categories of how to share and receive that feeling. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Those are the 5 love languages, and everyone favors the love languages in different amounts, meaning one person may need a lot of acts of service, but gifts don't matter much to them. Or to someone else, gifts might mean the world, but physical touch just isn't a big deal to them. You know, different strokes for different folks. Unless you don't like physical touch, in which case, no strokes for you. But everyone needs and appreciates all 5 of the love languages. It doesn't matter how old you are or whether you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever in your life or not. It's not just limited to a significant other. You have so many more people in your life than just that special someone. A mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, friends, grandparents, teachers, mentors. I mean, there are so many people that you encounter every day. Even strangers can benefit from a smile. So I wanted to make this video in honor of Valentine's Day and give you some ideas on how to show your love not only on February 14th to that romantic partner, but also, if you don't have one, to the other people in your life, any and every day of your life. So I hope this video does that for you. Words of affirmation. Let's try that again. Words of affirmation. Like I said before, this video is geared towards young adults, many of whom are not coupled off, or a lot of people who are in their long-term relationships but maybe kind of new at it, looking for ideas, and really want to do things right to make it last. And words of affirmation is a great place to start, and I am going to talk about how to apply it in both situations, and this one's going to be pretty blended. If you do have a significant other, this is hopefully the person that you admire the most, which means there's a lot of things you like about this person. Expressing words of affirmation can be really deep and thoughtful. A love letter is a great way to show it on Valentine's Day or the winter holidays, a birthday, or basically any other day of the year. And by the way, this isn't limited to a romantic relationship. On Mother's Day a few years ago, I wrote my mom a letter and she hung it above her nightstand for at least a year. That said, words of affirmation doesn't always have to take a lot of brain power. The thing is, it's pretty likely that a lot of the people you love, you also like, which means positive thoughts about them go through your mind on the regular. For example, if your dad makes you laugh, mine definitely does, then you're appreciating his sense of humor. If your grandma makes a delicious meal, another personal example, it is a great start to say, "This is really good, thanks for making it." But you can even take it a step further and say, "I really like this eggplant lasagna. It's different than any eggplant lasagna I've ever had, and it's really flavorful." And what I've done here is, I actually came up with this concept as I was planning this video. When you give someone a compliment, add the why. It makes your compliments more impactful and powerful. So instead of just saying, "Hey, I like this," "Hey, that's pretty," say, Why? I like your sweater because you stylized it in a really cool way with the white collar and the gold necklace. Yes, I like my outfit today. The thing is, that's so much more impactful than just saying, I like your sweater. And you know, any words of affirmation are gonna be appreciated, but this video, I'm trying to give you an up level. Number 2, acts of service. Acts of service you can do for your significant other are going to vary widely based on your situation. What high school sweethearts can do may be very different than a couple going on their 10th wedding anniversary. I receive Gary Chapman's emails every week with the 5 love languages and many ideas, and although there are several great ones, I do find a lot of the acts of service can be a little bit difficult if you aren't living together, but I want to point out that this is not exclusive to living together. I mean, my boyfriend and I have been together for 4.5 years. We don't live together, and we're both college graduates, and there's still plenty of ways we can help out. Even in the house, actually, I've helped him fold his clean laundry a number of times, and he's cooked breakfast for me in my own kitchen. So that's definitely a possibility, but what if that's totally not a thing? You can't help each other with household chores. Well, you know what? We were both students together for a long time, and my boyfriend is smart, so it turned out great when I was in an astronomy class and there was something I didn't really understand. He completely sketched out a graphic for me, sat down at the school library and explained the concept to me in detail, and it was helpful, and I got it after that. Or this one time I was in a number theory class, and you know, it was upper level math, but there was some stuff that was connected to astrophysics, which is even higher math, but he was able to bring in some stuff that I didn't know and explain it in a way that I got it. What if you don't live together and can't help with anything in the household, and you're not students? That is not going to stop you from helping with acts of service. Another really big one that I can think of is a lot of times when we go places, he does the driving. And that's honestly really great because I don't like to do the driving. Nothing that I have named so far can't be done with a platonic friend. You can help your non-romantic friend fold their laundry, cook them food, or help them understand stuff in school, drive them when you guys go somewhere together. Nothing about this is really romantic. Sure, you can put a romantic spin on it depending on how you do it, but it doesn't have to be. So what makes a good act of service? I think a good act of service is when you identify something that someone doesn't have time to do, hates doing, or it would make them feel better to have the assistance. If you find something that fits into 1, 2, or all of those categories, I'd say you have a really good act of service. Three, gifts. Let's get something clear right now. Gift giving does not have to break the bank, though it can encourage some quality saving habits if you want it to. In my romantic relationship, I have given gifts that range from totally free, yes, that is $0, to making a budget and taking months and months to save up for. But here's the thing, the only reason I mention money is because it is a fact when it comes to gift giving that there often is a financial outlay, but that is not what makes the gift special. What makes it really meaningful is the thought and planning that goes into it. I know the thought that counts is the cliche, but I'm not saying it as a cliche. It really is what makes it special. Even if you know what the other person has been wanting for a while, maybe the special part of it is that you figured it out, you know? You kind of figured out what is it that they want. You know, you went that extra mile, or maybe it's the fact that it's out of your budget too, so you started working extra hours and trying to do side hustles so that you could afford it for them also. Or maybe it was easy for you to buy, you already knew what they wanted, and you need to add your own personal touch. Maybe it's just some sort of note that goes with it to kind of make it sentimental and some sort of meaning. I mean, I don't know. Maybe your girlfriend wants a phone case and you put a little note with it and you say, I'm glad this will make your phone secure and I hope that I can make you feel secure. Aww. That is super corny. You can do better than that, but it's just an example. Now I'm gonna actually give you a few ideas on gifts you can give. Let's start with free. Because as young adults, we are often strapped for cash. Whether you're in high school working basically for pennies, or you're a recent college grad and you're trying to create a retirement fund with a teeny bit of extra money you have after your living expenses and taxes on your already small to begin with salary. So here's an idea. If you are in school and you're going to a career fair, or if you're just somewhere in your community and you're going to a local festival, often at these kind of events there are booths set up and there's candy usually spread around the table or in a jar, because they're trying to get people to come sign up for something or just talk to them. In this situation, if you see one that someone you love really likes, go ahead and pick it up. It's free, and then you can turn a marketing tactic into a love tactic. What if you're not at one of these occasions? Because they don't happen all the time. If you're just walking somewhere in nature and you see a pretty flower or a cool looking leaf and you know that someone in your life would appreciate it, just pick it up and give it to them. Serendipitous gifts are really valuable. They're just small tokens that you can give at any time to say I love you. It's really simple. It comes from the habit of keeping your loved ones in mind. For example, at the beginning of the season, I went to Walgreens to pick up a prescription, you know, just a basic chore, and when I was walking down one of the aisles, I saw a pair of gloves, and I knew my boyfriend had holes in his gloves from previous years, and so I went ahead and picked it up and I bought him a $5 pair of gloves, and it was just a nice thing to do. And of course, we talked about free gifts, low-cost gifts, and there are costly gifts, and that's where you get to practice your financial goals, working, budgeting, saving, and of course seeking discounts whenever you can. Now we get to talk about my top love language, which is quality time. There are two dialects when it comes to quality time. There is quality activity and quality conversation. And for the purpose of this explanation, I'm not going to separate quality time with significant other versus family and friends, because the advice and discussion around it is pretty much the same. Yes, the experience of quality time with my boyfriend is very different than that of everyone else in my life, but we're not experiencing my life right now. We're just talking about quality time. Anyway, when it comes to quality activity, I think there are two keys to getting this right. One is knowing what you like to do that's easy on a whenever basis. For example, I like to play games, and that can be done pretty much whenever, as long as I have someone to play with, which obviously if I'm playing a game with someone, that's quality time. I'm not talking about quality time with myself. And the second key is informing yourself on creative possibilities. So real quick, when people think about quality time with someone, they often jump to a dinner date if it's romantic, or a coffee or happy hour with a friend. And although we enjoy these for sure, and I think that the atmosphere that restaurants can set, it can be really great, I like to group this more with quality conversation, because the focus of your entire time is talking to the other person. So when I talk about finding creative possibilities, I really do mean get creative, and I'm going to give you an example of that. One thing that I do to get creative with quality activity is I'll actually use Facebook. I'll go to the events tab and I'll just scroll through to see what's going on in the near future, and I often find some unusual stuff. In the holiday time, there were a lot of festivals going on in Houston, so I picked one and I invited a friend to go with me, and we had a great time. And yes, we talked the whole time, but we also tasted salsa, and we bought gifts for our family, and we gave each other opinions on stuff we were gonna buy, and we had a lot of fun in a photo booth. I think it's also a good idea to inform yourself on stuff that happens on a routine basis, such as farmers markets or weekly classes. Now let's talk about quality conversation. Real quick, I've heard that some people are different off camera than they are in front of the camera, because the camera doesn't spark the anxiety they feel in social situations. I'm a people person through and through, and I'm definitely a natural conversationalist. That said, not everyone is, but conversation is the #1 way you get to know people better, because they're literally telling you about themselves. For people who are not a natural, I actually want to tell you about something that I saw recently and I'm thinking about purchasing. Amazon has these decks of cards and they're just unusual conversation starters, and I know they actually have them for in general or for a boyfriend or girlfriend or just a girls' night out. They have all different kinds. I think this is a cool idea because it might give you ideas of things to talk about that you wouldn't normally think to discuss. And that's why I'm thinking about buying it. I'll link it up in the description below, and if I do end up buying one, I'll go ahead and make sure the link I put there is what I actually bought. And if you want to go for a more cost-effective option, just Google conversation starter ideas and the web is going to give you more suggestions than you can possibly handle. Aside from that, ask about people's day in the evening, talk about yours, and just talk about whatever's on your mind. It might be totally random, but you just never know where a conversation can go. Physical touch. It's the fifth love language, but the first love language that we're gonna have to really separate the conversation of significant other versus family and friends. Physical touch is something romantic partners need to learn about each other in order to make sure they feel loved. For example, do you like a light hug or a tight squeeze? Do either of the partners abstain from premarital sex? And the most important question of all, do you waffle or do you pancake? Seriously, comment below. I want to know what people do. We do both, but we definitely waffle more often. Physical touch is the most definitive difference, though not the only difference, between romantic relationships and the other relationships in a person's life. So it's important that you make sure you know how your number one likes to be touched and that you communicate what makes you feel loved. I think when it comes to touching people outside of a romantic partner, it still is about knowing yourself and the other people. Are you part of a kissy family? Are you a hugger, or do you just like to shake hands? Hello. And then a lot of the time, it's gonna be about figuring out what's appropriate in this situation. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope that means that you got some ideas that you can take to go spread the love in your life. If you have some ideas of your own, please go ahead and comment those below. And if you want to read more about these concepts in depth, I am going to link up Gary Chapman's book in the description, so check that out too. If you have other video ideas, go ahead and comment those. I'm trying to put more videos out there this year, so definitely open to ideas. And until next time, click here to watch another video, click here to subscribe, and happy Valentine's Day!